This WordPress tutorial by Mark McLaren of McBuzz Communications is called How to Make a Static Page Your Home Page, Part 3. In Part 2 of this tutorial, I showed how to solve a problem that you might have if you make a static page your home page, which is the following. So I'll just review real quickly for those of you. If you want to, it's probably a good idea to check out the earlier two tutorials called How to Make a Static Page Your Home Page. But just to review why we're talking about this, here I have the Business Blogging 101 website, and it's kind of a standard blog format where it has the posts, the chronological posts, blogging posts, on the home page. Okay, so if I'm clicking on home, I'm going to see this page with the last post from February 25th of 2008. Okay, and you know, the ones that came before that are further down the page. All right. So if you want to, you can make a static page act as your home page. Okay, instead of having the blog posts, you can choose a static page. You can make any page you want and then tell WordPress to use that as the home page. And that looks something like this. Okay, so I'm going to use the WordPress tutorials complete list, and I'm going to go in here under options in the dashboard, reading. Okay, and under reading options, front page, you have these two little radio buttons, and you can either have your latest posts on your front page or home page, or you can click the use a static page as the home page or front page. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to select WordPress tutorials complete list. Okay, I'm going to leave the posts page unchanged for now. That's not important for this tutorial. Okay, and when I come back out to the home page and refresh, now you see the same page, WordPress tutorials complete list, that we selected. So if I click on that link in the main nav, nothing happens, right? This is now the home page. Okay, now what you might want to do if you're using a particular page as your home page is remove the link to that page so that people know, you know, I'm on the home page right now, and clicking on this you know, otherwise could be confusing. Like, what's the difference between clicking here on WordPress tutorials or going to the home page and seeing these WordPress tutorials? Alright, so rather than make people try to figure that out, you can just remove the link. Now I should mention as well that in the sidebar, this theme has page navigation over here too. So down in the left, you know, side of the sidebar, here's a link to WordPress tutorials complete list as well. In fact, every page is shown here, and subpages, links to subpages that are part of this site, are also displayed. So subpages are not shown in the top nav up here. This is the main kind of navigation, but they are shown under the page. So these are subpages of the about page here in the left nav. Okay. So the way to get rid of this button, the WordPress tutorials complete list, at least one way to do it, and this is the first way that I show in the second part of the tutorial, is to do this, to make it, I'm going to go to Manage, Pages, okay, and I'm going to make this WordPress tutorials page a subpage that won't show up in the navigation. Okay, it so happens on this theme that if I make it a subpage of one of the sub-subpages, it doesn't show in the nav. Okay, so that's just kind of a trick that you can use, and it is really a trick because it's not, you wouldn't want it to be that way, but it's a way of solving the problem. Okay, so if I open up the page, and now under page parent, here on the right of the page editing, so this is the WordPress tutorials complete list page, and it is a main page right now. As you can see, I'm going to make it a subpage of, or a child page of, this subpage that's part of the about section of the site. Okay, click on that. Again, this is a review for those of you who have looked at the part 2, but check it out. I'm going to show you what might be a better solution for some. Okay, now we can see that WordPress tutorials complete list has these 3 bars in front of it, and it's under the About page, and that means it's a sub page. Okay, and let's go see then what happens to that link in the navigation. Alright, so I'm clicking on Home. Okay, boom. Did you see that? It disappeared, right? So now it's not in the main nav, and it's not even over here in the nav that's on the left side in the sidebar. Okay, you can't see it because this nav doesn't show any subpages below this sort of 3rd level of page navigation. Okay, well, that's great. That's the solution that I proposed in part 2. But if you don't have subpages, okay, then there's no way around the fact that any page that you create is going to show up in this navigation. Okay, if you don't want to have subpages, that page is going to show up here. So here is what I propose very quickly, because I've got about 3 minutes to finish this tutorial. What you can do, go into Presentation, Widgets. Okay, now you have to be using, I think it is WordPress version 2.3. If it's hosted on WordPress.com, you're set, because they will update the version of WordPress themselves for you. Here we have sidebar arrangement, okay, which is part of widgets. And I'll just show you real quickly, because I don't have that much time, as I said, what you can do. This sidebar 1 corresponds to the left sidebar here, where we have pages and categories and archives, okay, as navigation there. If I want to eliminate the page nav over there, assuming that I don't have subpages and I don't need them to show up, I can drag categories up here, and archive, which is here, archives, drag that into the sidebar. Okay, there are option buttons that open up a little dialog. I'm not going to talk about that right now because we're just doing the quick solution here. Now you can see I've got the sidebar arrangement set up where sidebar 1 has categories and archives. Notice that it does not include pages, which does happen to be an option down here, this one. Okay, if I were to drag that in there, it would show pages, but I'm going to leave that out. Okay, dragging it back down. Click on Save Changes. And it says Sidebar Updated. So we'll come back out here. Now watch, right? Here's the old page with page navigation on the left. I'm going to click on Refresh. And boom, gone. Okay, now it's just categories and archives like we told it to do. So we have our home page, which displays the WordPress tutorials, and we don't have any navigation where the link to this page would show up. Okay, it's a sub page, and it's not going to show in the sidebar here anymore because we removed, using this sidebar arrangement and the widgets, the page nav from that sidebar. Okay, so in future tutorials I'll talk a little bit more about what you can do with the widgets here, but you get the idea, and that's a nice way to solve this problem.